So do you have anything to ask or tell?
Uh, no, I think the chat that we had on the SI joint and pelvic distress, the
Yeah.
links, I did that self-assessment test, both lying face down
Yes.
and the twisting motion.
Yes.
Uh, I can definitely feel that my left hand side is more deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it in the sitting up diagnosis, the assessment access, I'm not sure I did that correctly, but I could actually see that my left hand leg and pelvis side is almost frozen in place. It doesn't move as fluidly as the right hand side does.
Uh-huh.
And um, couple of other things that supplement this whole diagnosis is that when I lie down um, on my back,
Mm-hmm.
I can actually feel that uh, the pelvic bone that on the right hand side is more closer to the ground, and I feel the left hand side of the bone does not touch the ground in the same manner. So it seems there is a big difference. I mean, I always thought there was something wrong there, but I can now see the difference there. Uh, One more thing that I wanted, and I think I talked to you about that, I think through a chat also, is that, of course, the inner side of my legs are weak, but when I walk, I can actually see that my left hand side leg almost doesn't want to touch the ground fully. The feet doesn't want to touch the ground. It seems that I am almost treading lightly on the left hand side, and
Mm-hmm.
the feet is on the outer side of the feet is more pressing, and right, the inner side is not pressed at all. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. And the second is, and I don't know what you make of it is, but I have tried to do Pilates in the past, yoga in the past. Some help, some does, some makes the pain worse. But
Mm-hmm.
over a long period, I read the note that you had this whole, I believe I have the trauma reflex buried somewhere in my pelvis. It is that has been, I think that you use the word decades, that trauma reflex is frozen in that place for decades. And one thing that I see is in my the sphincter muscles in my anus, the left hand side, so the right hand side of the muscles contract properly, but the left hand side of the sphincter muscles are much looser there.
Mm.
I don't know if it's linked to it, but I do feel that when I try to do certain yoga posture with breathing, the pranayam types exercises which involve contraction of the sphincter muscles, I
Muladhara.
yes, exactly, Muladhara,
Yeah, the
exactly,
Mula Bandh.
the Mulband, exactly. The Mulband, when I try to do that, it gives me a lot of energy, but also then vitiates the pain on the left hand side, um, of the pelvis, and I just give that up. I know there is something wrong there. I tried to do the mood bandh. It hurt me. I stopped doing that. I actually did meditation on my navel. Again, doing that somehow made the pain, nerve pain, much worse. Even doing so, I gave up all types of awareness and meditation. But over a period of time, doing being gentle awareness is much more helpful than doing some forced
Oh,
contractions. And
yes. Yeah.
so that's, I just wanted to get these two things in front of you. But I do feel that this stress is part of it, and I do feel it's the left hand side that really is is not in the right place or position.
Yes. Well, okay. So it sounds like you need the regimen for SI joint dysfunction,
Hmm.
which includes exercises that correct leg elongation and foot contact with the ground,
Okay.
which includes breathing
Hmm.
and much more than that, but all designed to guide you through straightening your pelvis out.
Okay, very good. So that's what I start working now. That's the priority now. Priority number one. Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, because that it affects breathing when you're contracted like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Because I have done a lot of breathing exercise, believe you me.
yeah.
I know that my breathing was very labored, but the problem is it's the somehow when I think of breathing, it's down deep in my belly. When I try and take a deep breath, the pain somehow, when it's an intentional breath, the pain is very, very intense. So I'm
Mhm.
almost my body is starved of deep breath, but when I try and take it, it's painful
Yeah.
deep down in the belly.
So it's painful deep down in the belly, which is also one of the symptoms of a twisted sacrum.
Hmm.
And for the breathing, you'll be able to get more breath if you exhale completely. Instead of trying to inhale more, exhale more.
Got it.
And that will freshen the air deeper in the lungs so you don't need as large a breath to get fresh air into you.
Okay. I can.
And you won't have to inhale as hard.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Well, more than that, it just sounds like start the regimen.
Okay. Very good.
And I don't think you have the programs needed for the regimen, so I will send links to you to download those.
Okay.
And those would be the program Free Your Psoas and Get Free of That Back Pain. Free Your Psoas is addressing the pattern from the core and from the front more than the back, and Get Free from That Back Pain is addressing it more from the back than from the front, but they converge on the same things.
Okay. Okay. So the
Okay,
regimen is a combination of psoas and the back pain pieces.
right, and the regimen tells you where to find the exercise that's listed for you next in the regimen. It'll tell you which one, which program,
Okay.
and then locate in the titles of the files that you download the name of the action pattern that you'll be practicing.
Very well. Okay. So I can start on that program. And how do you recommend? So I can review that. What's the pace that I need to keep up in terms of, is it like a exercise one exercise a week? What's your recommendations around the patterning?
The regimen specifies how many practice days for each section.
Okay.
They're not all the same.
Hmm.
Some of the exercises are smoothing things out, and others are stirring things up.
Mm.
The stirring things up one, you take fewer repetitions to get the result, and then you move to the next one, which is smoothing things down. You've got to surface the problem before you can deal with it.
I see.
So certain of them will do that, but it's all specified in the write-up for the regimen, and I don't remember whether you sent for it yet or whether you just read the SI joint entry.
I read the joint entry, and then there on that entry there was a link which I
Okay.
sent, but I have not opened that link.
All right.
So
Well, when you
because
click it, it will open.
email. Yeah.
It'll open an email message for you just to send blank,
Hmm.
which will trigger a return message with the link to the regimen.
Okay.
Right? So you will have that email in your email software in case you need to locate the regimen again. You'll be able to find it and click that link.
Okay. I think I have it now. It came in the morning today.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And that regimen is still being improved.
Hmm.
It works, but as I work with it, I'm finding ways to improve it, to make less work and more results. So don't be surprised if next time you return to a regimen after practice, there's a new video link in place. It'll be a link to something that's more effective and more efficient.
No, no, no. I when I read your entries and I've skimmed through it, there are parts to it which I can completely identify. Things that you talked about is this whole sense of urgency, which is combination of fear and doing something. That defines my attitude towards life, actually, Lawrence.
Yeah, yeah.
And it reflects in how I deal with my children, how I work, all of that. And so I know that you're on to something which makes sense. And, to be honest, look, when I came to you, I think the way I came to you is that there has been a lot of repression of this pain because I couldn't deal with it. So I've been living in my head and it took me a lot of time to figure out that I need to be aware gently aware of this pain and be present to it. And that's how I came to you. But I still feel that the underlying issue still is that there is lack of this, there is misalignment of neuromuscular structure down there, and
Yeah.
that just prevents progress on many fronts for me. So,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we have this program. We are trying to work because that's my core issue.
Yeah. They actually are two aspects of the same thing. The emotional side is we call it the internal side, of which the pelvic structural disarrangement is the external side. They are the same thing.
Yeah, they're on the same continuum. They're
Yeah.
linked to each other.
Yeah. They're actually the same thing. It's not even a continuum, really. It's just a difference of perspective.
I see.
You're looking at it from a different viewpoint. One is from the structural viewpoint and sensations, and the other is from the emotional viewpoint, but they are these two aspects of the same thing, which is why it will be, I think, useful to do gold key release as you're going through this regimen. There'll be times where you may notice certain emotional material gets intensified, and that's a good advantage because then you can actually see it and apply it through the gold key release. And so we'll be dissolving that aspect also. And that will be restoring your integrity in the ways that got broken.
Yep.
Your integrity is your wholeness.
No, I see, I understand. So the last time when we did the gold key, it was really impactful. And I definitely need to refresh it on an ongoing basis because I can feel that resistance. I can sense that resistance to sense the pain or be with the body again creeping up again. So I
Sure.
have to go back and do the gold key release. Now, when we did the Skype, I'm thinking we did not record that time last time.
We did.
Okay. So
And I've also recorded a coaching track, audio track of the gold key release.
okay.
And it's on a page, on the blog page for the gold key release. So if you play that recording, it's designed for you to do a step and then stop or listen to the instruction for the step and stop the recording and do the step and restart. And there's a sound signal that says when to stop and start.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, and I've seen that, I was just hoping that if is that something that the last one that we did, can you share that with me or is that?
Oh, yes, I'll do that. I'll get that to you.
I thought that dynamic between the two of us, I went deeper. I have tried to do it with the stop start.
Yes.
Start stop it requires me to do something.
Yes.
While when I was there with you, it was just you telling me and I was responding and I was working through it. So
sure.
I felt a little bit better. But okay.
Well, you'll have access to the other for times that you want to do it right away.
Okay.
And part of the difficulty of stop and start is your attention gets diverted from the step you're in.
True.
Once you're familiar with the procedure, it will much less distract you.
You're right.
And so it'll get easier to do by yourself. So you'll have both options. And we just schedule sessions, like 24 hours or more in advance.
Okay.
And we can do gold key release as you like. And as I said, get more familiar with it, even with me. When you do the recording, it'll be, oh, yeah, I know where this is going.
No. I say, yeah, a couple of runs and then, I will have the prompts in my mind only.
Yeah, as long as it's easy to remember the step and the wording. There's a thing about the wording. It's exact. It's highly exact. And that's just because of the effect of the meanings on your attention. We want your attention and your intention to stay really close to the line you're following, and that's why the wording is as exact as it is. If a person doubts me, I suggest they do it the way they are inclined to do it once, feel the effect, and then do it exactly my way once and feel the effect and choose which they prefer.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense, and I can follow that as well. And so going forward, Lawrence, so what's when people are in this 9 week program, and based on your assessment, how often should we be meeting? Um,
There's no way to say in advance. What I suggest is that you be prompt with asking for calls.
okay.
If you have any difficulty that is obviously not progressing,
Mm-hmm.
don't waste time.
Okay.
Set up a call with me.
Very good.